tragedy of losing a family member can strike at any time, and maybe, depending on your age, will determine what memories you take away from the loss. The good, the bad, and everything in between. Losing a grandparent for many is so hard. Let's face it, we love our mom and dad, but grandma and grandpa were and likely will always be the go-to for the extra love, attention, and extra treats. I mean, they've been put here on this earth to spoil us, in my opinion anyway. And when they leave, man, does it hurt. But don't forget about all the memories you get to keep. Memories are awesome.
Hello there. Welcome back to another night filled with tales of terror. How's everyone doing tonight? Good, I hope. I hope everyone's getting ready for a good little scare tonight. So tonight's video is all about the night of my grandma's funeral. It was a sad time for all of us, for sure. My grandma, she was the pillar of the family. She kept all of us together. I mean, she made sure that we were all engaging in one way or another, either with the holidays or just with family barbecues and picnics and volleyball games. My grandma, she was awesome. She was absolutely the best. But I'm not here to share the sentimental with you tonight. No. I'm going to share a story with you all tonight about what I believe may be a cause for all of the strange and scary stuff that has taken place in our family home over the years, even all the way up until today. And I do plan to share a lot of these stories with you here on my channel, Scary Girl Griffin. So, like in all my other videos, while listening to the story, you may find yourself asking if what you're hearing is true or not true. And here's where I ask that you just hang on to the end of the video so that we can all find out together. Now get comfortable, click the like and subscribe buttons. That way YouTube knows to continue to show content just like this to you. Now, turn down the lights and let's begin.
I was 5 years old when what I'm about to tell you took place. I was the fourth child of what eventually would come to be 7, but for this story, it's only the 5 of us plus a handful of cousins. Born and raised in San Pedro, my dad had just bought us this big house on 2nd Street. It was big according to my 5-year-old eyes, and in comparison to the 2-bedroom duplex that we were living in, my grandma owned the duplex, the set of 2 houses on a good-sized plot of land. She'd set up my Uncle Vince along with his wife and kids in the front house, and my dad along with my mom and us 5 kids in the back house. It was a fun setup. I got to play with my cousins who were my age. We got to play every day, and my dad got to see his younger brother whenever he wanted. It was perfect. Another great thing about living in the duplex was getting to see my grandma every day. She lived nearby, so she'd just walk on over and spend as much time as she wanted with us. She was awesome. Being from Mexico, she made all of the traditional foods for us, from homemade corn tortillas, enchiladas, tamales, menudo, and tacos to conchas served with Mexican hot chocolate. We had it made. So I really didn't understand it when my mom and dad up and moved us to this big house on this big street. And that was about the time my grandma started to get sick. It was breast cancer that would eventually take her away from us, which for even someone as young as me at that time, it was tough. But before I go there, I want to tell you about this new house we moved into. Well, it wasn't necessarily a new house per se. I mean, it was new to us for sure, but this house had some history. Like, for instance, the house we moved into was built someplace else and moved onto the plot of land where it now sits. And when it was moved there, I guess before it was sold, a group of demonic worshipping squatters took up residence there. It's funny thinking back on all the neighbors talking about how this strange, mysterious house showed up one day, and then this scary group of people moved in and started to do heaven knows what in that house, scaring everyone that lived in that neighborhood. How they got this group of people to leave is a bit fuzzy to me, and I don't want to spread any rumors, so I'll just say that they most likely got bored with the place and decided to move on, but not without leaving some items, both tangible and intangible, behind. I'll explain. It was my dad's cousin who had sold us the house. Come to think of it, he'd also sold the house next door to my auntie, so funny enough, I had another set of cousins living steps away from us. Thing is though, these cousins were the same age as my older brother and sisters, so even though I loved them, that didn't work out very well for me. Now, I don't know if it was just because of the time we lived in, I'm talking early 1970s, but it didn't seem to bother my parents much that there were psychedelic posters left in different rooms along with strange words written in paint on the walls. Old mattresses were everywhere, including the basement. Oh man, I remember the mattress in the basement was dirty with big, dark stains and a putrid smell to it. I remember my parents saying, that had to go now. They let my brother keep one of the posters though. It was a poster of Baphomet, a scary looking deity with a goat's head and hooves, but with a human body, which is a topic for another story on another day. I guess not knowing or understanding the background behind the image in this poster, my parents were cool with my brother having it, so onto his bedroom wall it went and stayed for a while. That wasn't the only thing that was discovered and kept though. At the end of the very long hallway inside the house is a door leading to the last bedroom. And inside this bedroom is a deep walk-in closet with a window and light with a cord that you would use to turn the light on and off. Tucked in the very back of the closet on one of the shelves is where my two older sisters found a Ouija board. Excited for the new game they discovered, my parents were fine with letting them keep it. So as we were moving in and getting settled into our new home, my grandma was busy fighting cancer, a battle that she would eventually lose. But before she would leave this world, she would make the rounds with all of her grandkids, staying overnight at our different homes, spending time with all of us, taking us in, giving us special keepsakes, specially chosen for each one of us. I still have mine. It's a beautiful portrait woven with silk and linen of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Every time I look at it, I think of her and her beautiful smile. And my grandma was beautiful. She was a head turner, that's for sure. After some time of making sure she had her special time with her grandkids, my grandma went away to heaven, and even though we all were made to understand that she was no longer suffering, it still hurt knowing we would never see her again, at least not here on earth anymore. And as kids who loved her so much, it was really hard for us to understand. So we tried something. After my grandma's funeral, the reception took place at our house, and like most of our family gatherings, it turned into a long night of eating, drinking, and sharing stories with the adults in one part of the house, and in our case, us kids in the last bedroom of the house. There was a vast difference in age in that room, the oldest being 15 years old to the youngest being only 5. But there we were, a group of kids brought together by one woman, and now she was gone. But what if we could talk to her again? One of the older cousins asked. What would we say? The older cousins started going back and forth on what they would ask her and what her answers would be, to the point it started to sound like a competition. I mean, they started to get more excited the more they talked about what she might say, who she loved the most, who she missed the most. Finally, the Ouija board was taken from the closet and the question was asked. Well, do you want to find out? For a moment there was silence, followed by an excited roar of, yes, let's do it. So the lights were turned down, candles were lit, and an excited hush came over the room. We could hear the grown-ups laughing, crying, and singing Las Golondrinas. We knew they were pretty much occupied and not going to be bothering us, so we went for it. The questions started one after the other. Grandma, are you here with us? Can you hear us? Are you here? Can you see us? What is heaven like? The planchette kept sweeping over to yes, yes, and yes, until it stopped cold. Why did it stop? What's going on? Keep it going, my cousins and siblings started to say. I remember my older sister telling everyone to shush and wait. She was annoyed. Then we heard the grown-ups. They weren't singing anymore. They were arguing. They were yelling at each other. Then the planchette started to spin around on the board, moving in circles erratically. I remember one of my cousins saying it was time to stop, that it wasn't any fun, and that this was all nothing but fake. At that very moment, the curtains in the room flew upwards, the candles blew out, and the bedroom door burst open. We all screamed and took off running out of the room and into the hallway. Being one of the youngest, I remember one of my older sisters scooping me up in her arms and running out of the room with me. I can remember seeing one of my cousins getting pushed by unseen hands and falling forward into another cousin that in turn fell forward into another cousin. I remember all of us kids screaming as we all fell over each other along that narrow hallway. Then the smell of smoke filled the hallway. One of my aunties yelled out, "Fire!" and that led to a new panic with all of the parents running towards us, grabbing us and practically dragging us out of the house as my mother called for the fire department. Within moments, fire trucks were in front of the house and firemen were running towards us. I remember my dad holding me as I cried as the firemen entered the house. Then I remember them coming out of the house stating that there was no fire anywhere. Everyone was perplexed. We all smelled it, that distinct smell of something burning. From that night on, things got very weird at that house. From family members, friends, and visitors, there have been unexplained sightings, smells, and sounds. Getting touched by unseen hands, having your hair pulled, and feelings of dread and being watched. These are only a few of the many things that have taken place since that night we played with that Ouija board for the first time inside that house. And believe me, there are a lot more stories to come. So buckle up and get ready.
Okay, so what did you think? Yeah, things got pretty scary that night, and they got scary pretty fast. Now, before I say anything more, do you think what I told you tonight is true or not true? Well, if you said true, you're right. All of that really did happen. And since then, there's been a hell of a lot more scary stuff. Scary enough for us to have to call in a priest from time to time and come and bless our home. And I am going to share these experiences with you to the best of my memory, along with the memory of those that have had experiences in my family home as well. And I'm going to do it all here on my channel, Scary Girl Griffin. So be sure to stay tuned for more. And like always, if you enjoy dark and scary stories, make sure you check out some of my other videos on my channel. And before we say goodnight, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't done that already, and to prepare for more tales of terror to be delivered to you right here at 3 a.m. So until next time, stay safe and stay scary.